Hi everyone, it's Margaret Johnson, Canadian Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm going to share with you a what I call a book card. So really this is just a card with more than one page. You can create a book card as big or as small as you want. I did the first book card simply to kind of tell a story, I guess you could say. So it was just kind of a birthday card using the Beautiful You stamp set to show this woman how much his fiance loved her. So today, instead of doing the Beautiful You card and watercoloring, I'm going to use the Lift Me Up stamp set and the Up and Away framelits to show a different birthday card, which could probably be used more for a guy, but this is I'm just going to pull this out of the way. So this is going to be just a few pages long, and I'm just going to show you before we start some of the dimensions. So again, you're going to create this however you want, whatever size you want, but for the card I'm making today, the basics that I'm using is a piece of cardstock, 5 inches by 10 inches, and I scored in half at 5 inches. So this is going to create my card base. So that's this piece here. So 5 inches this way, 10 inches this way, and it's scored at that 5-inch mark, so it folds neatly in half. So that's mint macaron that I'm using today. And then, whether you're doing watercoloring or you're just going to do some stamping, your insert going into this is going to be 4 7/8 by 9 13/16. I did it just a 1/16 longer than the 1/8 mark at the top end there, just because when you score it and you fold it in half, it does take a little away, but you want to have it just slightly smaller because when you have your insert, you're just going to have a little bit of a mat there, but you don't want it butted up right against your score line. If you have it butted up right against and you fold this, it needs space to move because now you're adding thickness to your card. So you want to be able to just slide that closer to that outside edge while still having a slight mat and then having a little space there so that when you fold it. So if you're creating a book card that has more than just a couple pages, you're definitely going to want to create these even a little bit smaller just to have more space here, because as the thickness gets greater, you're going to need more space to be able to move this. So that is the insert and your card base. Then you're going to have your layers. So for my layers, I did a matte layer that's going to go on the outside of the card. So let me just grab the outside again. So I used smoky slate. So I'm going to grab 2 pieces of smoky slate, 4 11/16 square. The other piece is going to be used for this piece here. And you're going to add your mat on there just like that. So you've got your outside and your inside. Then you're going to create another layer. Now, whether you're going to be watercoloring again or using designer series paper, which is what I'm doing today, your next mat is going to be 4 1/2 inches square. So I'm using the Carried Away designer series paper, which is available during Celebration right now. There's less than 1 week left of that. So this here, you just layer on top of there. And I'm using a different piece for this layer, and I'm going to layer it there. And if you really wanted to get crazy, you could definitely, put some paper here as well and create another little story on this side and absolutely use that. I'm not doing that today, but when you're creating your book card, that's absolutely an option, is to create imagery there as well. So we're going to set that aside, not put it too far away. And that mat gets put aside. So I'm just going to take this out. I went ahead and, so that this wouldn't take too long, in the Up and Away framelit set, thinlit set, I die cut the big balloon and I die cut all the pieces out just to, you can see on the back here, all those pieces that you see in that framelit set are used to create your different colors that you can put in behind this big image. That way you can do multicolor. I decided for this one to just stick with the Watermelon Wonder cardstock. So that's going to go on my card front. Now, I want to split up my words. So I'm using the Lift Me Up stamp set, and the Hope Your Day is on Cloud 9 Happy Birthday is all one stamp. But I don't want to stamp the happy birthday just yet. I just want to stamp Hope Your Day is on Cloud 9. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of washi tape and I've just covered up the happy birthday. That way when I ink this up, it's just going to get the ink on these words, and then I just have to remember to peel this off. Otherwise I'm going to end up with a big black blotch. So I've got my little strip of cardstock here and my black ink. I'm going to use the Archival Basic Black ink. Pop that open. So we're just going to ink this up until I'm happy with that. This is where I have to remember, peel that off. Otherwise we're heading for disaster. Get that off me without getting ink all over myself. All right. And this is where I have to hope that I can stamp neat and tidy. And I got to remember I want to cut a banner end, so not to stamp too close. Not too bad, a little high, but not horrible. So I'm just going to take my scissors, cut the end in a banner, and if my Archival Black ink dried immediately, I would go ahead and attach this to my card. But for some reason, I don't know if it's humidity in the air where I live, it doesn't dry right away. So if I touch that, it's going to smudge. So we're going to set this aside, let it dry for a moment before I go and attach that to my card front. I am going to go ahead and do the same for the next layer of my card. Same idea, going to stamp a banner. I've masked it off again, and I've got on this one, You Soar Above the Rest. And that is going to go on this layer here. And I've gone ahead and I've stamped and die cut a Night of Navy hot air balloon. So that's going to go on this page. I haven't decided quite where I'm going to put it yet, but that will go there. And then, so let's just get that inked up. Same thing, I'm going to have to eyeball this. I'll be honest, I'm not the best for using Stamp-A-Majigs to get my placement perfect. So, I think I will stamp it right there. Not bad. Pretty happy with that. And I'll do the same. I'm going to cut a little banner on this end, just with my paper snips. These are super sharp. You definitely don't want to be poking yourself with those. Easy to cut yourself. So again, I'm going to set this aside to kind of dry up. Get this out of the way. So that's for those two mats. So while I'm waiting for those, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the inside of my card. So I'm going to flip this open. Hopefully I don't have too much ink on my hands. I am brutal for getting ink and then touching everything. Okay, so I need the happy birthday on here. So I definitely have to clean this because now I've got to mask off the top part. So let me just go ahead and do that. And I don't want that residue, that wet residue getting on my paperwork, so I'm just going to see how much comes off there. So I stamp off as much residue as I can. That way, when I go to ink up the next stamp, the next image, I won't have wetness coming off of it. Some of these letters are really close to the H and the Y, so I just got to try and cover that all up. I think I've got it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp my hot air balloons first. What I did was I pre-stamped, pre-die cut some masks. This is just from copy paper, so it's not too thick. just scrap pieces of paper. But I've created some masks so that when I stamp, I can overlap the balloons and kind of create depth using the images. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use Night of Navy and Watermelon Wonder, just to keep with the colors of the other two hot air balloons that I've already pre-done. So I'm just going to sit down here. Oh, the fun part. What do I want to stamp? What color? Big one, Watermelon, small one, Night of Navy. I think that sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the Night of Navy first. So my ink's getting a little dry, and I'm going to place this one over top, kind of close to the edge. Get that out of the way. Get my Watermelon Wonder. Ink that one up, and watch that I don't halo it. So straight down, straight up. So that one's actually in behind, which I really didn't mean to do it that way, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong in stamping. No such thing as I did something wrong. Nobody knows what I meant. I really wanted that one to be in behind, but I forgot. Too late. So now I'm going to mask this one. Now this one's going to end up in behind. And I'm going to go back to the Night of Navy with the small one. And, take that off. See, he's in behind. That's what I meant to do the first time. Whoops. Okay, so it's a whole slew of balloons. Close up those ink pads, because my luck, I would stick my whole hand in them. And we're going to grab the smoky slate, and we are going to stamp some clouds. So I just need to get my block free here. Get my hot air balloon off that one, and dig out wherever it went. It's hiding. There it isn't. My cloud. Okay, I just want to stamp a couple clouds around this in smoky slate. Again, you can use your mask so that it looks like it's clouds are in behind them. Oop. And I've got another size here. And grab my big mask. I don't know about you, if you do videos or not, but I always get nervous. I'm not sure if I'll ever get over that nervousness, but I'm doing it. Simply because I love stamping, and I know that as someone who's stamped for close to 14 years now, I sometimes forget that not everybody understands how to do certain things. So this definitely is a great way just to share with you my passion and share with you different ideas and how to achieve different things and just have some fun. So hopefully I'm succeeding in that. I'm going to stamp one off the page. I need a couple smaller ones in there. You know, hard to balance it all out. Okay. I think that's okay. All right. So let's get that ink pad out of my way. I got this one all masked up so that I've just got my happy birthday showing. I'm going to ink that up in black again, so you can see it's all nicely inked up. And remember to take off that piece of washi tape so we don't cover ourselves. All right. And I'm going to stamp that because I got some dirt marks here. Shh. I told you, I always get dirty. Stamp that right there. Try and mix it in, hide it. Happy birthday. So, I think I'm going to be okay to start putting my layers together. We'll try and do this as neat and tidy as possible. So I just want to make sure that this is going to sit in here. I had a good way and a bad way, I realized when I pre-cut. I think that's the good way. Okay, so my top layers, we're going to take snail adhesive. I think I just bumped my tripod, sorry about that. And this should be a pretty even mat all the way around. So I always look at 3 edges. If the 3 edges are good, I assume that the 4th edge is going to be good. And then I go ahead and lay that down. And then we're going to grab our hot air balloon. I think I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals and I'm going to pop this up. So with my Stampin' Dimensionals, you can see all the main pieces are gone, but you still have that outside edge and there's no sense wasting those pieces. Nobody's going to see these. They're in behind. So just slit along the edges with your paper snips and use up those pieces. They're just as good. So pop those on there, and I want a really tiny piece to fit that basket in the bottom. You probably see how quickly a stamp room can become a bit of a disaster site once you start getting all your little tools and bits and bobs out that you need to create a card. I get so bad that I have to actually clean up after every card I make, put everything away so that I can refocus my mind to get working on the next card. Now before I do that, I'm just going to attach this down to my card front. You'll have to pardon me, I have a bit of a cold and trying to get over it, and I'm still raspy. Okay, it's sticking to me. Okay, so again, look at the 3 outside edges. When it looks pretty good, taper down. Grab my balloons. I've already peeled the backing off there. And I'm going to pop that up here. And I'm going to grab my sentiment. Hope your day is on cloud 9. Pardon my arms over all the imagery. I think I'm going to pop these up as well. So grab my pop dots. Use some more of the outside edge. Peel that backing off. And, whoop. And I'm going to line that up with the outside edge there. I'm trying to see, usually when I try not work directly above, I'm looking from an angle here. I don't get things straight. Okay. Yep, that's pretty straight. Okay, I'm going to flip open my card. This is where I'm going to grab my insert and grab my layers, put that aside. So now I've got this layer. Tape that down. Now, when you start working on the inside, you don't want to start raising things up because that's going to make the inside of your card way too thick to properly close. So just try and make sure that your layers for the inside are all flat. So unfortunately, I've got to make sure, oh boy, there it is, losing pieces. So when I attach this, I'm just going to make sure it's laying flat. And same with my little tag here. Whoops. And decide where I'm going to put that. I think I'll put that up top this time. Yep, I'm going to be happy with that. See, hot air balloon above the neighborhood. This paper is so much fun. I love that it matches. I'm just sad it matches the Lift Me Up bundle, but I'm sad that it's such a limited time that it's available. I really don't want to touch that. I just know. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to attach that to this. White cardstock and I, we don't get along. Okay, so we're almost done. And like I said, you can create as many pages in your book card as you want. Tell a story, have fun. You know, there's so many stamp sets out there that, whoops, empty. That's okay, got more in my drawer. So many stamp sets that you can use to tell a story. You know, if somebody loves gardening, there's so many flower stamps. You can create a beautiful flower book card with different sayings on each page. Oh, it'd be so beautiful. Squeeze that in there. Really close to the edges. But away from that center. Right? Okay. And I think that's it. We're done. Crazy. Look how fast that went. So it's really not hard. I mean, you stamp your pieces, die cut your pieces, tell your story, watercolor, whatever it is that you want to do. So you got your Hope Your Day is on cloud 9. Flip it open. Like I said, if you really wanted, you could add some imagery here, another piece of designer series paper, a couple more balloons, another saying. There's a couple more sayings in this stamp set that might work. Depending on who you're sending it to, you could maybe say sending smiles across the miles. You could say, you know, love is in the air. It's all depends on, you know, what the occasion is. So you could do something there, and then you've got this page here. You flip it open, you've got this page here. This is where you leave it kind of blank so you can write your birthday message or whatever the message is, thank you. And if you really wanted, you could stamp the back side of the card, but I leave that blank. So that, in a nutshell, is a book card.